Emmy from Emmy Mom 2 here, and today I'm going to teach you how to make the tomato cage Christmas trees. And we have one here, and I'll show you the supplies first. The first thing, just a simple tomato cage, which they are seasonal at a lot of stores, but certain stores do have them still, so you can look around and find them. 100 strand Christmas lights. And this stuff is called tree garland. I found this at Taipan, so if you don't have a Taipan, not sure where to tell you to find it, but it's called tree garland. So it's great stuff, and this is 3 yards of it. And then these little stars, this silver star here, and that has a hole. We found this at Target, and so it's just simple, or if you don't have this, you need something to get the top together. So you can find a different ornament, something else you want to put on the top, but these actually work great. Some wire and a wire cutter, and that's all the supplies. And so we will get started. First thing we do, if you don't have one of these stars or something like this, this is where if you had one of those zip ties, you could zip this tie together. But with this little top, since it has the hole, it just slides right on perfectly, just like that. And so we've got our star on. And then next, we'll have to get out the lights. Alright, and so for this next part, I'm going to move the tree down here. I take a piece of wire here, and I'm going to just loop it around the top. I'm doing this not only to help hold it a little better, but this will help hold our lights a little bit. So we kind of just loop it around and leave a little extra, because we'll use that to loop the rest of our lights. And then the key with the lights is you want to make sure you can plug them in. So you got to make sure the plug is at the bottom. So I bring it inside because I want all the lights to be inside. Bring the plug in, and with the 100 strand, if you bring it right to where the first light starts, have just about a foot extra cord, it will work out perfectly. And then I will just clip some wire, and I will wire these lights, this little strand of lights in place. You can wire it around the pole, you can wire it around the side, doesn't really matter. Just kind of wire it on. And then once that is wired on, I will take the strand of lights, bring it all inside the cage, pull it up, keep pulling up. Lots of extra at first, it'll seem like, but it works out just right. You want to pull it till it's fairly tight. You don't want it to be super tight, because you don't want it to pull too tight, but just so there's a little bit of slack. And then, bring this back down here again. Then I will take it through, then with the tube that I have, I will keep the lights inside, and I will wrap up the first light. And the star just fell off, so don't do that part. Since the star fell off, I actually ended up taking the loop off because I needed to push it down a little further. And it's actually easier if when you're holding it, then you come here under the light, just like that, and then loop it around and twist it on. And then you still will want the extra for the rest of the lights that come on. But then that way you've got that looped on, and we'll go ahead and loop it one more time, just especially this first one. You want to have it nice and secure and tight so the whole strands don't fall down. Alright, and then after that's looped, you will take the rest of the lights and make sure you have them inside the cage, because we're going to be wrapping this with the garland. And you will bring it down. And with these, they work out so it's about 6 spots, which works out, there's 3 of the wires, so basically if you split the distance of the wire and then go on the wire, split the distance on the wire, that's where you'll want to take your lights. So stretch it on down again. And with these ones, you mostly can let them hang, but you might want to occasionally, like sometimes I'll wire it just on the middle spot here, so I'll just cut another small piece of wire and just wire it here, just to help kind of keep it in place a little better and to help the lights not flop around so much. And then bring it back inside, so so then I do need to wire it down here. So I'm going to pull this back out and wire it down here. and then I'll pull it back in once it's wired. So you do want to wire it around the bottom every spot. And my lights, you can see they're pretty nice and tight, but not too tight. I'm not stretching it so far anything's going to fall apart or break any wires or anything. So I just kind of twist it around, knot it, just kind of random, doesn't really matter. Just get it secure however you want. Shove all the lights back in, and then bring them over to about this spot, and then take them back up. So that's what we'll just keep doing, and then I will be back to show you the next part. And I just wanted to show you the trick with the top. If you see here, here's where we have the first light, which we need to actually adjust a little. And it has from the first loop that we did, and it's got the hook hanging down. And from the hook hanging down, we attached the second wire as it came up, because the top gets narrower and you don't need a whole bunch of lights up there. So that way it doesn't have to go quite as high next time up. And so there you can see how it's hooked on. Alright, well as you can see we have all the lights on here, and we have our 6 points, as I said, about on the poles and halfway. And you want to make sure the lights are kind of loose, because if they're too tight they're going to be trying to come outside and we're going to be wrapping it, so we want them all inside. And we did secure an extra light here, but mostly the lights are just secured on the bottom and secured here, and then secured through our loops up here. So, and then we'll take our gauze. This is about 3 yards of it, and the silver, it's definitely a much different look than the red over here. The red's kind of filling it in more, but these especially look really great at night. So we'll come in here, we'll make sure all of our lights, and then you just kind of start wrapping. And we'll secure it with little pieces of wire, and they don't even show up when it's all wrapped up. And you just kind of bunch it up a little bit. You don't have to have it perfectly flat and smooth. In fact, it looks kind of better if it's a little bunchy. If you wanted a smooth look, you could do a smooth look. But you really just keep kind of coming around. Make sure all your lights are inside as you're wrapping it. Come up here a little, bunch it a little more. And just keep wrapping, and oh, I could have bunched it even more. So I'm going to just go back and readjust and bunch more. That's what you can always do. You can always fix it, because we haven't wired on anything yet. So that's why it's good to just kind of wrap it first to see how far it's going to make it. And then as you can see, we've just got it to the bottom. And if you notice here with the cord, because we have this cord that's sticking out, and our bottom cord also ended up right at the bottom. So that way we can, if you want to have a bunch of these, you could easily plug them in together with each other. So that's why it works out perfectly with the 100 strand of lights. Alright, so now that we've got that kind of loosely done, just got to come do some readjustments here. Just to make sure we're all covered up. Make sure all of our lights are in. You can just even kind of tuck it under the cage itself. Alright, and then I'm going to start taking my wire. Just little pieces of wire now. Bring my chair back around so I can bring this down more eye level. And for the top, I actually ended up just going right on the outside and just wrapping around the top. Especially the top, you want to make sure it's on nice and secure, because if the top falls, they'll probably all fall. And then you just kind of go random places and pin it on. And if you, especially when you're down at the bottom, it's easier because you can just reach up inside the cage, so that way all of your wire ends up inside the cage. So here we'll just take this and we'll come from the inside, there we go, come from the outside, then go back inside, and then just secure it and twist it and kind of wrap it around. And we will just do that everywhere until it's secure. So we'll be back once we're all wrapped up. Alright, as you can see, we've got it all finished up. So we're going to plug it in here. And there we go. And we were thinking with the silver, the strand of white lights might be a little better and might not show up quite as much. But at night in the dark, they look awesome together. And so we're very excited. And so I hope this tutorial helped you out and you can make some of your own and have a Merry Christmas.